Last story of the night. Tim Ballard, the guy who is the centerpiece of the Sound of Freedom movie, sexually harassed and spiritually manipulated employees, women claim.
Oh,
Surprise,
wait a minute.
surprise.
Is this why I got that copyright hit?
Why? Did you play a clip from the Sound of Freedom?
No, I didn't. I just talked. So I talked about the guy who helped fund the Kickstarter, who ended up, he got in trouble for trafficking. I just did a video on that, reading an article, and that video got hit with a copyright claim. And then I disputed the claim, and then YouTube sent me back we don't think you actually have the grounds to dispute this claim, so we're not going to do anything with this, and you don't get to get your video back. But it was just a handful of days ago, around late September, actually, when this article came out. That's weird. That's strange. Probably coinky dink.
So am I going to get hit with a copyright claim for talking about this?
God, it would be fucking hilarious if you did.
Well, no, we all know that if I get hit with a copyright claim, it's going to be the it's going to be this.
See, I don't actually hear any music from that at all.
You don't hear the music?
Nope. I don't.
Oh, it was, well, it's Okay. I'm sorry that my audio routing is messed up. Go watch that on my stream. You'll hear it. So yeah, there, you're safe from the copyright thing. It's all me this time. Anyway, a group of women who allegedly experienced abuse. Allegedly. Come on, we know every accusation from these people is a confession. My only surprise here is that everybody who's come forward so far is over 18.
Well, they're over 18 now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way this happened, it kind of would only be open to people that are over 18. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so this is the guy. Sound of Freedom was that movie that everybody's like, oh, if you don't like that movie, you must be a pedophile.
You've got to be a child trafficker to not like our
I
propaganda.
I literally, like, did the most mild criticism of the movie. Just, like, I think I compared its revenue to, like, the Barbie movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, look how much less money it made than Barbie after this person predicted that it was going to make a lot of money. Like, that was all I did. And I got so many comments on, like, responding to that, being like, you must be a pedophile. I wonder what's on your hard drive. And like, why wouldn't
Wait, those
you...
are the exact same things the dude said to me in my death threat I got by email today.
Yeah. It's like, no. It's that the people who made this movie are a bunch of posers who are not actually helping with child trafficking. They're bringing attention to the wrong aspects of the issue. Because, like, the child trafficking as it was portrayed in that movie is not how it actually happens. Like, 99.9% of the time. So, that movie was not helpful. And people that love that movie are all like, oh, no, if you don't like that movie, you must be pro-child sex trafficking. No, I am anti-child sex trafficking, and I am pro using measures that actually work for preventing child sex trafficking, not the stuff that these guys did.
I don't have many comments here because I haven't actually seen that movie. I
haven't seen the movie either. I haven't seen it either. I just commented that the Barbie movie made a shit ton more money than it did. And apparently that makes me a pedophile. I haven't seen the Barbie movie.
I do need to see the Barbie movie, actually.
I actually kind of want to see the Barbie. Like, when I first heard Barbie movie, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch a Barbie movie. What the fuck? But, like, everything I've heard about it is, like, apparently it's, like, really fantastic and amazing. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go see the Barbie movie.
It's amazing what happens when your marketing teams start realizing that appealing to a broader audience instead of the smaller audience you originally built your piece of media for is actually a good thing. Weird that.
Yeah. Yeah. So a bunch of women came forward saying that Tim Ballard abused them sexually and spiritually, I guess.
I guess that would be like manipulating somebody and using their religion as part of it. Like God wants you to come into this room, that kind of shit.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. So now, if there's one thing that I've learned from having a partner who is studying to become a therapist, it's that a lot of times, like when you talk about things like spirituality or whatever, it's not. This is something that's difficult for me, and she knows I struggle with it, and she kind of pokes fun at me for it all the time. It's like, it's not about whether or not it's true. It's about how this person feels about it, how they interact with that feelings, how they interact with the world based on those feelings.
Yeah.
And so from a therapist perspective, that's like trying to find tools that they can use to improve their lives or whatever. In this guy's perspective, it's about like getting them to let him grab their tits or whatever. So our involvement with Operation Underground Railroad, that's the organization that Tim Ballard founded, which all of the legitimate organizations that fight child sex trafficking, they have all put out statements being like, we don't work with these people. We recommend that nobody work with these people. The things that they do actually make things worse in the long run.
Oh boy, he's the Autism Speaks of his particular demographic.
Yeah.
Great.
So these women went to work for them because they're like, I want to help children. Like, they legitimately want to help. So they go to work with them. They say, but while engaged in that noble cause, we were subjected to sexual harassment, spiritual manipulation, grooming, and sexual misconduct. And then as part of the statement, they said, we acknowledge that the risks involved in challenging someone as prominent as Tim Ballard, the founder of OUR. We will reveal our stories in our own time and on our own terms, but for now we choose to remain anonymous. Absolutely legitimate, completely legitimate, because every time something like this happens, people come out and like the right-wing people come out and attack the victims of sexual abuse. And it's disgusting. And they attack them because it's like, oh, you want attention. Like, this didn't really happen to you. You're just saying that because you want attention or because you have a grudge against this person or whatever. It's like,
but they're staying anonymous. They're not trying to get attention.
Yeah, well, that's why they're staying anonymous, is because they know that these people get attacked. But it's like there's no benefit to being publicly known as the victim of sexual abuse, ever. And yet there's this whole culture online of like, oh no, these women are just like they're clout chasing by accusing prominent people of sexual abuse. Like, no, you don't get clout for being the victim of sexual abuse. You get harassed by right-wing nut jobs.
Like, I'm not going to doubt, just to steel man entirely, I'm not going to doubt that there is at least one or two people who have considered or even tried going the route of trying to gain some amount of prolificness because they were harassed, or because they were not harassed and they want to argue that they were. I'm not doubting that person maybe exists, but this is not one of those scenarios, and that scenario is shockingly rare.
Yeah. So Fennec says, VR, would you do the Barbenheimer thing? What is doing the Barbenheimer thing? Like, is it just watching both those movies back to back?
I've heard that it's a fun bit of whiplash.
I could see that. Yeah. I haven't seen Oppenheimer either, so maybe. I need to watch them. That sounds like a long day, though.
The memes that were generated from the announcements for both of those movies were akin to the memes that were generated from the Doom announcement alongside Animal Crossing, where we just got to see Animal Crossing characters running around just slaughtering demons for fun.
All right, so Ballard recently stepped down from his role at the organization amid accusations of sexual misconduct. Vice reports that 7 women claimed that he made unwelcome advances toward them, asking them variously to pretend to be his wife while on trips abroad. He allegedly would ask them to sleep in the same bed with him and shower with him. It's like, oh, you're my wife, so obviously you would shower with me. Okay, Fennec is saying yes, it's just watch them both back to back.
The real question is, which one are you supposed to watch first? Because I'd imagine, like, watching Barbie and then watching Oppenheimer is sobering, but watching Oppenheimer first and then watching Barbie is traumatizing. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this movie right now. Okay, everybody in my chat saying Oppenheimer, then Barbie.
And yeah, but then when you consider the 50s era, scientifically speaking, how many women, like, I don't know how many women worked on the Manhattan Project, but I know, like, for Apollo, there were so many women that were just, like, kept behind the scenes, and even today we don't know most of their names.
Yeah.
So, like, I could see the theme kind of interplaying there between, like, Oppenheimer, if they don't acknowledge the contributions of the women that had significant contributions, but then at the same time, would they want to be acknowledged for that?
You don't,
because it's Oppenheimer. It's the nuke.
There's only so many people who would be incredibly proud to have been part of the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, like to say I helped put man on the moon for the first time ever. That's fucking awesome. To say I helped develop the thing that killed a bunch of Japanese civilians. That's less cool.
I mean, on the one hand, America was more racist against Japanese people back then.
It led to nuclear power, which is pretty fucking spectacular. It's one of the greenest forms of energy that we have. It's got a really bad reputation because of media throughout the 90s and early 2000s, including but not limited to The Simpsons.
You're gonna have an elephant foot in your backyard,
taking a shit on it, and like having the big green sludge pouring out of these nuclear plants. That's not how it is at all.
It's a nuclear power plant is literally just a steam factory.
Basically, yeah.
That's all it is. They're using the cooling of nuclear rods to create steam, and that steam is generating power.
And the newer plants, I'm not sure if any have been officially built yet, but well, officially, how would you unofficially build a nuclear plant?
I've seen some Phineas and Ferb episodes. I'm sure you can manage it.
Where's Perry?
He's there in the end of the episode. Don't worry. He was there the whole time.
I forget what I was even going to say. Whatever. Anyway, Tim Ballard is obviously saying these are baseless inventions. Yeah, these accusations are baseless inventions designed to destroy me and the movement that we've built to end trafficking and exploitation of vulnerable children. So yeah, it's just a coincidence that all the women that work for you accuse you of sexual harassment. Maybe not all.
It's a small coinkydink.
Yeah, just a coincidence. Oh yeah, he's also been discredited by the Mormon Church. They call the Latter-day Saints. They denounced him, who he is a Mormon, but they denounced him, saying that his actions are generally morally unacceptable. The representative for the Mormon Church did not specify which actions they were talking about.
I feel like that would be interesting information to work with. Just the Mormon Church doesn't like you. Everybody gets really excited, and then suddenly you diddle kids. Oh.
Why would you say diddle kids right before I was about to go off on a tangent?
I didn't know you were about to go off on a tangent.
Well, you should be inside my brain at all times, Suris.
I don't want to be inside you, Vice.
I want you inside me, Suris.
Oh, God.
Somebody clip that. Send that to me on Twitter. Anyway, some Brenna said thorium salt liquid fuel reactors are the absolute best next to fusion. So what I was going to say is that the problem with nuclear power is the fuel, but the newest plants can use the not the fuel, the waste. The newest plants can use the waste from the older plants as fuel, and then their waste decays on the order of like decades as opposed to thousands of years. So like you only need to store it. You only need to make provisions to store it for like a couple hundred years, maybe at most.
So it's actually future-proofed.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Fennec says, Heidi, come get your man. Heidi is my partner, for those of you who don't know.
It solves the general confusion when she had the moniker Ocean Waves, I think it was. And every time I read it, my brain immediately went, "Ocean's at your house?" But wait a minute.
Yeah, no, I must admit that I was a bit. I got confused by that a couple times as well. She is not paying attention. She doesn't watch most of the streams. She'll like pop in and out just to like say things in the comments and like tease me and stuff, but she doesn't watch most of it. Oh, she's here. She's here. There we go.
Just saying I'm here with no other context is probably makes all the Sonic fans in my community go nuts.
I'm not sure if she heard the bit about me wanting you inside me.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.